Welcome to another edition of SVG Sports Tech on Demand. I'm Jason Dackman, Chief Editor at SVG, and I'm joined by Skip Levens of Quantum. He's the Marketing Director of Media and Entertainment over there. Skip, how are you today, and where are you calling us from?
Doing really great. Good to see you, Jason. So today from Austin, Texas, basically, if you dropped a pin in the center of the U.S., that's pretty much where I'd be.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Austin,
At least in the
best city in the state by far. No question about it. So Quantum has been extremely busy during the pandemic, and obviously there's been challenges for everyone. There's been changes in the industry as a result of those challenges. But some of the biggest news that we've seen hit when you guys acquired the CatDV Asset Management platform, obviously a huge player in the MAM sector. What does it mean to have CatDV as part of your guys' ecosystem now? What does it mean for StorNext? What does it mean for the larger, Quantum family of products? How does CatDV fit in?
That's killer question. And so I think a lot of people are familiar with CatDV. It's a media asset manager that you can get up and running quickly, but it's extremely capable. And in a way, it's a platform in its own right. And it helps tie together workflows and keep track of your assets. These are really basic things.
Sure.
But what's really interesting and what's compelling about CatDV is the technology underneath, that it can be an asset manager, it can speed production, but the way it tracks and makes meaning of the content it tracks was really interesting. And then when you pair that with something like StorNext that can help track and sort of take command of a whole ecosystem, and then from fast ingest out to the deepest cloud content lake on the StorNext platform, and you put those two together, then you can really fit a lot of needs, and you really do get the best of both. On-premise, cloud, customers that work in the solution, in the asset manager, and then the people that support it that need to make sure that every step of the workflow is tuned and has the storage it needs, the space it needs, et cetera. So it's really been fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool to see an actual MAM tool now brought into your guys' ecosystem, because you see where the pieces fit together, kind of like you were talking about, right? Where making sure you're being as efficient, making sure you're leveraging your storage, as efficiently as possible. It's a really exciting acquisition. So I'm curious, is there any customers out there yet that are sort of taking advantage of that the stuff we know from Quantum all too well with StorNext and everything integrated with CatDV?
Yeah. So probably a fantastic recent example is the Sacramento Kings. And they had this sort of classic content creators challenge, which is we're creating a ton of content, for inside the arena and fan packages and that sort of thing. So, when you're creating lots of content and when you're done, it can be really tempting to just store it on any disk and then sort of get back to content creating. And it's a sort of, this sort of constant circle. But they realized, and I think a lot of content creators face this, is to really transform and sort of pivot to really, really go deep with packages for engaging fans and building the brand. It really pays to know exactly what content you've ever created, right. Reuse it, monetize it, and, be really agile at picking and pulling and moving your content around. And this was sort of their realization. They said, we've got content on, big, disc that we plug in, we've got it on tape, but it wasn't really, they hadn't surfaced the meaning of it. Like if you needed 15 seconds from a game back, when, that was a challenge. You had to scrub through the whole piece. And this is all the stuff that an asset manager system like CatDV unlocks. So step one, obviously, is ingest what you have and now get it under management. And then you're hitting deadlines faster and creating content faster. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And you can see how teams or, even larger enterprise organizations could potentially see the advantages of that transparency, right? And being able to actually see your library, see your content, and hopefully discoverability goes up and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So the CatDV news was huge for you guys, but you also just came out with something really big. NAB is not happening in April this year; it's happening in October. But that hasn't stopped you guys from releasing some new products. So tell us a little bit about the new StorNext architecture and appliances with the H4000 series, right?
Yeah, fantastic. Yes, it's I think our internal body clocks are sort of tuned for this time of year and
right.
and products and launches. But so StorNext 7 itself was a major new release released late last year. Mm-hmm. And StorNext under the hood has received tremendous tuning for NVMe optimization, for being able to craft drive pools across flash and deep storage and tape. Probably the most visible aspect of this is a new user interface that lets you manage everything a StorNext platform does in one place. But what's not so apparent is the tuning under the hood to make StorNext easier to deploy on different architectures.
Sure.
So today, the reason you can get to these giant, powerful StorNext environments is it's a lot of different types of hardware. So what if you could take all of that capability and all those different individual capability components, converge them using a new StorNext virtualized software layer and all this engineering, and now the entire StorNext environment in 2U, a single system, and that's what we've announced today, which is it's called the H4000 appliance, but it really shows all of the tuning and the new architecture of StorNext 7. And this is one example. I expect you'll see further examples of how and where StorNext 7 can really fly in the future.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm curious. Again, the news just sort of broke a little while ago, and it's really creating an appliance for the power of StorNext 7, kind of getting rid of a lot of those roadblocks and stuff like that. So, what are some of the key advantages? You mentioned it, but I know also just in terms of like complexity, energy, rack space, stuff like that, it's a lot more efficient, right?
Absolutely. You take what was probably at least 6 rack units for different discrete servers and different storage, and now all of that gets converged into one 2U system that you can obviously upgrade and add more storage to in the future. But a lot of customers have really asked for everything StorNext does. Very fast, collaborative. We're talking high resolution, high performance, low latency, and but put it in a smaller package that they can deploy. So, say you already have a big StorNext installation, and you just open a new department, or you want to stand up a new team or a new project. Well, rather than waiting to build your core infrastructure all the way out to the edge, you can stand one of these up and run a single connection. And now, and then they can send changes back to the core StorNext environment. So, and then if other customers that maybe had, that had only had a single type of storage and didn't have this notion of managing it, from ingest all to archive, well, they can adopt it very quickly.
Right.
And then we think one of the really fun ways to apply this, especially for events and for sports team, is 2U, one system. Now I can put it in a rack. Right. Now I can go capture on set. I can maybe do some previs on set. I can, dailies. I can see the actual footage.
Right.
On set. So when it's really mobile, but you still have all the capability of StorNext, people working collaboratively. That's really unique about StorNext. It really opens up a ton of opportunity. So
yeah, I mean, you can see the possibilities for remote production, for decentralized with a data center at the core, and like you said, going out on the road, suddenly it's a lot more mobile in terms of live events and things like that out on the road. So it's a really exciting announcement, Skip. I'm sure we're going to hear more about it as the weeks come ahead. But for now, thanks so much for taking the time. Really, really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see what Quantum has coming down the road. But for now, stay safe. All right.
Thank you. Hope to see you all soon.